Hey babes, welcome back to the It Girl Era podcast. Today we have a special guest.
Hi.
This is my friend Leslie, and she's going to talk about her creativity and her new business. And yeah, we're going to get into all things creative, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, Leslie, you can introduce yourself.
Yes, so my name is Leslie. Adanya and I have been friends for many years now.
Yeah.
So I like to crochet, sew, scrapbooking. I'm into a lot of different crafty kind of hobbies that I do in my free time. I also have a website where I sell things that I hand make. And I have a YouTube channel where I film tutorials and other kind of craft related content.
Perfect. Okay, what got you into your crochet business?
Okay, so I started crocheting when I was like 9 years old in fourth grade.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know this.
Yeah, my grandma taught me.
Really?
My grandma's a very, very crafty woman.
Okay.
She was really into macrame, so a lot of her decorations in her house in Puerto Rico were macrame.
Okay.
But yeah, she also knew how to crochet, and she first taught me to make things like headbands and little like wrist bracelets. So
You gave me one before.
Yes, I did. Yeah. So I learned like the very basic foundational crochet skills from her when I was like 9, and then I remember my first like big project was a scarf.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. Like, I did not know how to count the stitches or anything.
Yeah.
But I feel like as you kind of grow and even as you like start crafting and making the scarf, it like gets better towards the end. So like the beginning was wacky, but it started looking good. But yeah, I would like make headbands and she would make a flower and then we'd put it together and there's a project.
Aw, how cute.
Yeah. And then during COVID, when we were back home, flash forward many years, I started like embroidering. So I just bought like kits on Amazon, and then I made like a butterfly embroidered t-shirt that I really liked, and then I told myself I wanted to get back into crocheting. So I bought a fresh new set of hooks and yarn, and then it started from there again, and I haven't stopped since.
Aw, I love that. I didn't know that your grandma had showed you how to do that, but I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah,
that you guys have that together. What made you start your YouTube channel?
I wanted to have a YouTube since like back in the day. Like, I don't know if you know what O2L is.
I know.
It's okay. It's okay. There were like do you know MagCon? Okay. It's okay. Basically, it was like these group of like boys on YouTube. They were friends and they would have like friendship channels where they would like rotate and each of them would post a video weekly.
Oh, okay.
Like on a different day of the week. So they were putting out content like Monday to Friday. Like 7 guys.
Wow.
But yeah, they were really popular, and me and my friends in middle school, we wanted to do one. So we had like a whole notebook full of ideas. We didn't end up doing it because we were like 12 before the equipment and everything. But then again, during COVID, it's like I think my first video is a haul of like Shein clothes or something.
Of course, Shein.
Yeah, Shein. So yeah, I've been making videos. I took a break once I started college, I think. And I was pretty inconsistent. I'm not the most consistent now. But I think I'm a little bit better than I was back then.
I think so too.
Thank you.
Okay. Where do you get your inspiration from, like for your certain projects or your YouTube channel? Like, where does that come from?
So for crocheting itself, I think Pinterest is like my #1 used app after TikTok. They have so many different ideas for projects, and not even just projects, for like color inspiration. Like if I want to make a bikini set and I want like a summer vibe, I'll look up like on Pinterest, like a summer palette, and kind of pick colors that look well together, and then get the yarn that matches, and then put it together that way. I've also been like commissioned to make pieces, following other people's inspiration. And I think that is something that's really fun for me, not working like based off of a pattern, just I see something and then I'm able to kind of piece it together and figure out how it would work out. I like doing those.
I love that. When did you start your scrapbooking?
Okay, scrapbooking is more recent for me. I wanted to make a book of like all my college memories. So I started it after I graduated from college. I went and like printed out a bunch of pictures from Walgreens. I actually went on Instagram and used that like layout feature they have for the stories. And then I saved those and printed those as like pictures. So they're all like different sizes. Which is cute. So yeah, I printed out pictures from my college days and put them together in a scrapbook. And I'm still doing it now. I don't have the full book finished, but I think it's I think it's good to have something like a physical that you can look back on memories with, because I don't know, the digital world scares me sometimes. Like if everything is digitized, where will it go? And that doesn't exist, right? So I wanted something physical that I could look back on and like maybe show my kids someday. But yeah, that's why I started scrapbooking.
Very cute. Why is creativity important to you?
I think I have always kind of grown up to be a kind of creative, crafty person. It's something that was instilled in me as a child. Like, it's so important to have hobbies. I think for me, it's so important. Like, when I was a kid, I played instruments in school. As like extracurricular sports, like things like that, where you're just engaging with something outside of your regular. And I think it helps you find a sense of community as well in different areas of your life. Like for crocheting, for example, like there's so many people on Reddit who they'll post their completed project, or they'll ask for advice and feedback. And it's so good to have, like, a community that's kind of niche. And I think it also allows you to meet more people, find common ground with more people. You have, like, the same interests in common. But, yeah, I think it's just really important to, like, your growth and having an outlet to kind of express yourself in, which I think I'm able to do with, like, the crocheting and sewing and stuff.
I love that. But I definitely feel what you were saying, because I've been so into like booktube. And it's just such a niche like kind of thing. Like it was like, oh girl, like I read that book before.
Right, exactly.
Like
Exactly. Reading is the hobby I need to get back into.
I love reading so much. And like I can finish like a good romance book in like 2 days. Like I just be so enthralled into the world, like just the escapism. I like that. I agree. How does creativity show up in different aspects of your life?
I know like there's certain skills that you get through different, I don't know, hobbies. Like I said, growing up I played instruments, so I was able to read music and sheet music. And our music teachers would tell us, like, oh, if you can read sheet music, it helps you with other skills like math. Which is so strange. But it's true. It's true. So it's like there's different things, like little quirks like that where you can make connections. Also, this is like a literal answer to your question, but like dexterity as well. Like I have tremors in my hands. So I mean, when I'm, like, anxious or nervous or anything, they get really, really bad. And sometimes they're, like, uncontrollable. I can't, like, you know, chill out and they'll go away. But they're mostly in my hands, like, right now. They're unsteady. But crocheting allows me to kind of, like, focus. And I don't have to do it quickly. I can, like, relax and take my time with it. And it's, even though I have these tremors, I think crocheting helps me to kind of not regulate them, but not think about them so much, and kind of improve them that way. And then again, like how creativity shows up in my life, I think, like I mentioned before, the community, I think is the most place where I see connection with other people that way. I think.
Yeah. And then, like, you and your grandma have that in common, so that helps that relationship, as well as, like, the self-care aspect, right?
Yeah.
It's like doing your nails or things like that. Even, like, doing your makeup is creative, because
it is.
You have to know how to do that stuff,
right?
Which I don't, but you do. But you have to know how to make the colors look good on your face and things like that. So I think it's really important, us as women, to have hobbies, like you said.
I agree. That's like number one. You need something outside of yourself and outside of scrolling all day.
Yes, and outside of your relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. Something that just grounds you and something that interests you. And it makes you a more interesting person.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And like you said, it helps you connect with different people that you might not have connected with.
Exactly.
If you didn't do that. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the grandmas at Joann Fabrics, they're great conversationalists. You would know that if you didn't, go shopping for yarn. And ask them questions.
Yeah.
But it's little things like that.
How do you get through, like, creative blocks?
Ooh, okay, this is good. Okay. Honestly, I have an example. So I used to crochet a ton of flower bouquets. And I get into this, like, mode where I make something and then I need to make 50 of it. So I would do that a lot with flowers. And, like, different types of flowers, whatever. And then I would, like, sell them on my Instagram page. And I hate making sunflowers. I don't like it. Just takes so much more time compared to the other types of flowers. And it's more materials. It's just a lot more work. But, like, obviously the first couple times I made them, I was like, I love them. And I would make, like, 10 at a time. And I was getting a lot of crochet bouquet orders, and then I was just doing the same things over and over again. And I was really not feeling it. It felt like a job. And you don't want your hobby to feel like a job. So I actually stopped making the flowers for a bit. I did. And I stopped taking orders for them. And that kind of helped me, like, relax and not kind of, I don't know, overdo it with it. I didn't want to I was getting sick of it. Basically. I was getting bored of doing the same thing over and over. So I stopped. And so I would kind of shift from making the flowers to making something else. Like bags, for example. Fanny packs. I made a ton of fanny packs. I had a fanny pack phase. Because they were so easy to make. So I would just try to make something else and take a break from what I'm actually making. And that really helped me, I think, from, the block of feeling like this is, like, a job for me. I think also I have, like, a list on my phone of things, like, I want to make. So if I'm feeling like, what do? I have all this free time on my hands. I have a couple hours to spare this week. Like, what can I make? I can, like, refer back to things I know I wanted to make in the past. As kind of like an inspiration for what I want to make now.
That's so cool. So you take breaks and then you switch up what you're doing.
Exactly.
Do you also, like, make an effort to, like, get outside your environment, or? So I actually, crochet is one of those hobbies where you can kind of pick it up and take it with you depending on the kind of project you're working on. So I would definitely go and sit outside in my backyard and crochet instead of being on my bed all day. So that was a way for me to kind of be outside my normal crocheting environment. And I would also bring it to my grandma's house, sit in her living room and crochet. So that's kind of another way I get out of the usual. That's cool. I didn't think about that, but you can definitely take it on the go with you, and even on, like, vacation.
Exactly.
What would you say are your creative rituals and habits? Like, the process of you, like, okay, I'm gonna start this new project, what does that look like?
Okay, I can talk about a time where I made myself like an outfit for a concert.
Okay.
I think. So
Yeah.
this was for a Bad Bunny concert I was going to. And the vibes of the album were very like summertimey. Yeah. So I knew I wanted something crochet that I made. And I knew I wanted it to like feel a certain way. I wanted it to be breathable.
Yeah.
So that was important to me. So I kind of take different aspects that I knew I wanted the end product to be. Like I wanted it to be a certain color. I wanted to include beading. I wanted to include this kind of like a mesh stitch for the breathability. So I started off by kind of thinking about what I wanted it to look like, and then I actually sketched it out.
Okay.
I did a couple sketches.
Yeah.
Because with crochet, the way I do it, it's kind of like you build separate pieces and then bring them together in the end.
Yeah.
So I started off like sketching out what those different pieces had to look like before I actually put them together.
Yeah.
And then once I had like the sketch done, I went to the store and I felt through the different yarn materials that I wanted, like if cotton or acrylic or, you know, different blends. So I picked out the yarn I wanted, and then I knew I wanted some beading, so I actually picked out like wooden beads I thought were cool.
Okay.
And then once I had the materials, I started, when I'm making something for myself, I kind of like measure it to my own body as I go. If I'm making it for someone else, it's different. I have to kind of think about how it would fit them.
Yeah.
But making something for myself, I'm able to just like measure it as I'm going. So then I think I made the top piece first. It was just like a long sleeve kind of bell top type of shirt.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I knew for the bottom I didn't want like something super long. Crochet pants can be like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I just made like shorts. And again, like I also would go on YouTube because I had never made shorts before.
Yeah.
So the top I completely free-handed it.
Okay.
But the shorts I needed like kind of like I needed something to work off of.
Yeah.
So I watched a couple tutorials and see how they went about their process of making the shorts. And then I adjusted it to include that kind of like mesh vibe I wanted in it. And then it turned out the way I pictured, like from my drawings and then from my brain, and then the actual product. It turned out good.
So with every project, do you like do the sketch and then do it like that?
I don't.
No.
That was, I think for like bigger projects, the sketching works for me.
Okay.
But for projects I've been commissioned for, I'm at the point of crocheting where I've been doing it for many years.
Yeah.
So I can look at something, I'm like, okay, they use this stitch, this yarn, and that's how they did it. And I can kind of do it in my own brain a little bit. Like I did this corset top recently. It was like completely mesh. And it was kind of challenging for me to figure out how they did, I don't know, like they made it look like boning, but it's just yarn. So there's not actual boning in there. So I had to kind of figure out how to make the stitches look like it.
Yeah.
And I had actually just been working on this really big blanket it's a very complicated blanket with lots of different types of stitches, but I really loved that project because it taught me so many things. Yeah. It taught me so many different like stitch types. And it was really complex but really beautiful. Like the blanket looks like a mosaic tile. It's really so beautiful. Oh my goodness. But I took stitches that I learned from that project and I applied it to another one.
Oh wow.
And it turned out exactly how it was supposed to look. So yeah, I'll kind of take and build off of different things that I already know how to do. Yeah. And then put it together for, you know, whatever I'm making.
Yeah. How do you get past the fear of judgment?
Ooh, okay. So yeah, when it comes to like YouTube and posting on social media, that is definitely scary. Yeah. But I think I needed to realize like, I don't care. Yeah. I do not care who is watching. Yeah. Even I've gotten some, you know, rude comments sometimes. Really? I have, and I make crochet content. Anyway. Yeah. I've gotten, you know,
People
comments.
will find anything to hate about.
Yeah, they will. But you just have to, like, realize nobody is going to meet your dreams except for you.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to be a content creator, if I want to post on YouTube and, you know, reach that subscriber count or whatever, you have to do it.
Yeah.
You just have to sit down and do it and not rely or think about what somebody else is going to think about you. I am careful about what I say. You know, because, you know, I don't want to, like, offend anyone or, you know, I don't want to say something out of pocket. But, you know, it's like, you need to be aware you have an audience, but also not care about what people who don't support you think.
Also, like, how do you push past your fear of judgment with your crochet as well as your other projects, like your scrapbooking and things like that? Well, your scrapbooking is more like personal, but let's say your crochet, because you do that for commission.
Right. So I think there's like a well, it's not a stigma, but I've heard people say, like, don't monetize your hobbies.
Yeah.
I've heard that. And I understand, but I don't do it solely for the monetization.
Yeah.
I do make crochet projects for myself, for my family, you know, for free.
Yeah.
So it's not something I'm doing solely for the purpose of monetization. Same with YouTube. I'm not doing it solely for the purpose of monetization. I'm doing it because I want to grow in my crochet skills. I want to grow in my YouTube skills. I think it's just, you need to, for me personally, I understand, like, don't monetize every single, I don't monetize every single thing I do, you know?
Yeah.
I know how to embroider, but I'm not, you know, pushing that out there. I'm not selling that. And I think it's okay as long as you take some time for yourself as well. And don't do it solely for monetization. And if it feels like a job, like I said earlier, then maybe take a step back and think about why you're even crocheting in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. What's your favorite creative tool?
Crochet hooks. And yarn.
You're cheating.
Okay. So it's like, what is rapid fire? I say one thing? One thing? Okay. Okay.
Okay. You want to do it over? Or we
can do it over.
Okay. Your favorite creative tool?
Crochet hooks.
Your favorite creative app?
Pinterest.
Your go-to music or playlist for inspiration?
A Girl Era podcast.
Period. Okay. A book or resource that has influenced your creativity?
Ooh. Honestly, fashion magazines.
Really?
I love seeing, like, vintage pieces.
Yeah. The biggest lesson you've learned about creativity?
It's okay to make mistakes. You can just unravel the yarn.
Yeah.
And start over.
Love it. How does being left-handed, no, okay. That's not rapid fire. Okay. Does being left-handed make it hard for you to do your creative projects?
No, but I've gotten hate comments because I am left-handed.
Really? Wait, what did they say?
I can't follow this tutorial if you're left-handed.
Oh.
Go find a right-handed one.
Right, like, it's so many, like, girl, okay, period. Okay. Yes. Okay, we're done. Okay. Any words of encouragement for people who are just starting in their creative journey?
There's a ton of resources out there for beginner crafters. And I would listen to a lot of, I think people with a lot of experience in certain crafts like crochet and knitting, they have very good advice. Yeah. So I would follow it. You know, take in their tips, use Pinterest as a guide, a resource for different, you know, things you want to make. And take your time. Be okay. If the project or whatever you're working on doesn't turn out how you, like, visualized it, it's okay. Especially if you're a beginner. Like, you're not going to have, you know, the mastered ability to crochet everything. So it's okay to relax, try again, and just start over.
Yeah. Tell the people where they can find you.
Okay, so you can find me on YouTube. It's just Leslie Mendoza. I
thought it was Leslie Alexander.
It's not anymore. I changed it. I did my real name. So yeah, you can find me on YouTube. My website where I sell the things I make is shoploveleslie.com.
Period.
I have 2 different Instagrams. One with like my creative stuff. It's Love Leslie Threads. And then I have my personal Instagram, which is just Mendoza _ Leslie.
Period.
Very common name.
Yeah, okay. Period. Thank you, Leslie, for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
This is a very special episode. I'm so excited to get it out. I hope you guys have a good week. Make good choices, and I love you. Bye.
Bye.